Hi, hello. So today I have a kind of different video. Obviously lately I've mostly just been posting the art lock. I do actually intend to have other videos on my channel. I just, kind of easier to stay on track when you've got a series with like a structure to it. Anyway, I just had a fun little story to tell. It's not really little, I've got 10 pages worth of notes on my phone. But I'll try and make it short, kinda, I hope. Look, we all know I'm bad at making short videos, okay? I don't know how to shut up. I don't know that this is the kind of video I'd make a ton. I just had a really dumb story and thought it'd be fun to turn it into a video. So, here we are. Also, before we get into it, I want to say a big thank you for 300 subscribers. We just hit that recently. And that's super exciting. Thank you, everybody. And welcome if you're new here. Hi. I draw stuff. Yeah, that sums up my channel. I draw stuff. Stuff is Pokemon. Always Pokemon. But, yeah. So, strap in as I tell you about some shenanigans surrounding my Weavile. So for those who don't know, I have a lot of Pokemon OCs. Like, maybe a few too many. Some more interesting and well-developed than others. My main one being Robin the Gallade, and a more recent main one is Echo the Shiny Morgram. If you follow me on Twitter, you've probably seen me post a lot of random doodles of those two. I draw them too much. Anyway, another OC I have is my Weavile. He's one of the only OCs I have that isn't a shiny. It's funny that my main OC, Robin, is not shiny, considering, like, probably 95% of my OCs are shiny. Anyway, Shreds is one of the ones that is not shiny. I do a lot of roleplay, and Shreds was introduced as a character purely just to be a villain, because I needed a villain character, because reasons. You can tell he was not intended to be anything special because I literally named him Shreds. Like, do you really think I'd use the name Shreds for something I cared about? Well, I care about him now, but I'm not changing the name because it's his name. I can't change it now. But that wouldn't be what I would go with if I intended to keep him. The reason I picked Weavile in the first place was because it's kind of a Pokemon I was very indifferent to. I didn't love it or hate it, and I thought it fit the idea of like a villain character. Not so much a strong character, but someone who would be vicious. Like, that's what I was going for, so at no point in the roleplay did it ever feel like he could ever win. It was just that he would hurt people. That's, like, the only thing that mattered. Like, he was never going to win. That was obvious from the start. He was just there to create conflict and drama. But after literally 2 years of using him as purely a villain character, I got a little bit attached to him. Also, at some point in the story, he did have a daughter who was not a villain, Kendall, the shiny Sneasel. Yeah, you know, more shinies. What did you expect? And particularly through her and her character, it did make sense that she would help him towards a redemption arc. And that happened, and yeah, particularly because I got to a point where, for one, using the same villain for so long just felt just like nothing was really happening that was new, didn't really create any interesting drama, and also I was kind of getting to the point where I was more interested in the drama between different characters and their relationships, where there was no villain involved, it's just people trying to get along. Basically. So Shreds was redeemed. And with most of my OCs being shiny, when I get them in-game, it's kind of, you're doing the shiny hunt. That in itself is special. It makes them special. But then when it comes to the ones that aren't shiny, it's kind of like, how do I make this feel special instead of like, I could have just grabbed this from anywhere? And at the time I had redeemed his character, I'd just gotten into IV breeding, because before I did a bit of shiny hunting through breeding, but I never really looked into the whole IVs and EVs and all that stuff, because I don't really play competitively, I'm just a collector, really. But I thought, like, it would be kind of cool to IV breed him, because then we'd have, like, a really good one, it'd be kind of, make him special, it's like a mini hunt, that'd be kind of fun. So I went ahead and started breeding in one of the Gen 7 games. And what do you know? About 30 eggs later, we get a shiny. Didn't even intend to find one, but there you go, I had one. Anyway, I distinctly remember finishing the hunt. After I found the shiny, I continued IV breeding to get like a 6 IV or possibly a 5 IV. Sometimes I don't bother with special attack and attack because you don't need both of them. And then I left it and moved on to some other things. And then recently, with Sword and Shield, being able to connect with home and bank and all that stuff. I mean, it was a while ago now. I planned this video quite a while ago, but this happened a while ago, okay? But at the time, it was when home had just got connectability to the other games. And I was transferring all my shinies and things up and all my characters and getting everything into there. And I checked every single game I had, and I could not find him anywhere. I was so confused because I was so sure that after I'd found the shiny, I did continue and I got a 5 or a 6 IV one that was meant to be Shreds. I did find one male Sneasel that was maybe meant to be him, but it wasn't nicknamed, and I was pretty sure I'd nicknamed him. So I was just confused. Anyway, I thought about it for a bit, and I thought, you know what, maybe this didn't really seem that special. Maybe we start over and get him in a way that's actually more special. So I thought about it and decided I was going to get a Sneasel from Sinnoh, so from Diamond or Pearl, and I was going to transfer it all the way up. I got out my copy of Pearl, and I caught myself a male and a female Sneasel in luxury balls and started breeding them. My intention was that I was going to get a level 1 Sneasel in a luxury ball, and then I was going to send it to Soul Silver and we were going to play through there because I thought it'd be more fun because I get to have him follow me around. I thought that'd be kind of cute. But I picked up a few eggs and very quickly realised that in Gen 4, Pokeballs don't transfer down through breeding, so everything goes into regular Pokeballs. It didn't matter that both the parents were in luxury balls, all the babies were in regular Pokeballs. So, oof. So I just took the Sneasels out of the daycare, and the male one had a timid nature, and I decided I would actually just go with him. Timid is not a good nature for Weavile, but I thought it was kind of more fitting for his character, surprisingly. I know I haven't made it sound like that, but I would say timid is a fitting nature for him. And obviously with Sword and Shield now, once I've transferred him all the way up, I can just fix his nature with mints, so it's not a problem. So anyway, here I am with a level 35 Sneasel, and I figured I'd just roll with it. I don't really play for challenge anyway, I just wanted to have a playthrough of the game with him to, you know, bond with him and all that. So, nicknamed him, we're ready to go. Next thing on the list is to get his evolution item. It's not available in Soul Silver until post-game, and I didn't want to wait until post-game to evolve him. I was more considering like mid to end of game that I was going to evolve him. So I wanted to send him over holding it so I could evolve him whenever I wanted. So I looked up the locations where it would be available to get within Pearl, and I managed to get to the first location that was listed. I think it was somewhere in Victory Road, but it wasn't there. I didn't have it in my bag, so I must have picked it up when I played in the past and I either used it or I sold it, I'm not sure, but I didn't have it. So I looked up the next location, and I did find the general area, and I definitely hadn't been there before because as soon as I got there, I ran into an NPC who I had not seen. And there was a bunch of trainers that I had to fight to get to the item that I hadn't fought yet, so 100% this item had not been found. It was still there. However, there was my next obstacle. This was an old save file of Pearl, and I had transferred everything on it to, you know, all the newer games. And the strongest thing I had was a Gastrodon that was like level 30. So, yeah, there was no way I was going to be beating the trainers. And after thinking on it for a bit, I decided the fastest and easiest solution was just to find a legendary and then blast through all the trainers with that. So after some research, I found that Giratina was the only one that I had not caught on that save file and would be able to access without trainer fights. So there I was, on my way to catch Giratina, you know, the renegade Pokemon, the embodiment of destruction. Literally Pokemon Satan. Just so I could evolve my Weasel into a slightly bigger Weasel. If this Sneasel is not special at this point, then I don't know what is. So we found Giratina, we caught him, I called him Deeth. Don't ask why, I don't know. And then we immediately went back, fought the trainers, picked up the item. We're good, we're ready to go. So that was it, right? We're done, we've got everything we need. Bet you thought this was where the video ends. I mean, obviously not, because, you know, you can just look at the progress bar or see that the drawing that you're watching is nowhere near finished, but where was I going with this? Nowhere important. The point was, it's not over. I also had to set up the Soul Silver file so that I'd be able to trade him in and start playing. So I needed to get to the point where I could trade. I actually already had a Soul Silver file set up and it was waiting right by the starter Pokemon. At some point in the past I had attempted to hunt one of the Johto starters. I don't remember why I stopped. I was either busy or I got distracted by something, or it might have been because I already had the full Chikorita line, so there was a 1 in 3 chance that I would get something I already had. So for whatever reason, I stopped the hunt and it was still sat there ready to continue. Around the time that I realised I was going to need to catch Giratina in order to get the evolution item is when I started self-resetting on Soul Silver. I just figured it would take me a while to get Giratina, so I might as well do some self-resets before continuing up to the point where I can trade. Obviously I didn't really actually expect the hunt to go anywhere, but I thought, hey, it's something I can do on the side, keep my hands busy, because I like to be doing like 10 things at once. So you can probably see where this is going, especially if you're, you know, watching the video and seeing what I've drawn. The soft resets were very slow because it was just on the side, so it wasn't like me playing at like maximum optimal shiny hunting craziness. I was maybe doing 1 every minute or so. It was definitely under 100 soft resets when suddenly there's a shiny Totodile on my screen. Was not expecting that, to be entirely honest. But it was cool. I usually spend a very long time thinking about nicknames, and since I wasn't expecting to get this, I didn't have a nickname in mind, so I just took him and saved immediately, and thought, I'll nickname him when I get to the name rater, because then I'll have some time to think. I ended up calling him Slushy, because Shreds has this whole thing, like sort of an ice cream thing going on, and I thought it was kind of cute to have sort of the similar, you know, and also Shiny for Alligator kind of has, I don't know, it gives me slushy vibes. The sort of the bright blue and turquoise is a colour I associate with slushies because like no other food is that colour. Anyway, I decided since I had this shiny now on the same file that I was planning to play through with Shreds, I was gonna go ahead and just add him to Shred's backstory because why not? So to put Slushy into Shred's backstory, I decided he was going to be the first shiny that he ever saw. Basically, before the redemption arc, Shreds belonged to someone in Team Rocket, you know, hence the whole villain thing. And, you know, obviously that person was stealing Pokemon, so at some point he stole a shiny Totodile, and that's how Shreds first met Slushy. And I think the first time he saw a shiny, his trainer would have, like, used that to cement the idea in his head that because he's not shiny, he's not special. After all, I went through to get this whole thing set up and get this Weavile. I would like to strongly disagree with that sentiment. And anyone who disagrees with me can fight my shiny for Alligator. I mean, you can't, because he's stuck in home right now. Anyway, Shreds has this idea in his head that he's not special, and it came from his trainer telling him it, basically. And after his redemption arc, I actually redesigned him so that all his feathers were sort of like a blue kind of colour, or like a turquoise. Basically because he was self-conscious about this idea that he is not special, and obviously now living among all my other 10 billion shinies, he feels even less special, so I have a character who likes to give everyone makeovers, and she was very excited to give him a little makeover, so she went with, hey, let's just dye all your feathers a different colour, that'll be fun. In universe, there's no particular reason for the color, just because they like that color, I guess. But the reason I actually chose the color was because it's based on the color of the original Sneasel sprite. Sneasel used to have like these icy blue feathers, which looked so much better than the red in my opinion. I really like them. I thought it'd be fun to put that into his design. I thought it looked a lot better. And I have been messing around lately with trying to make my Pokemon OCs look a bit different and change up the color schemes. I kind of don't like to change them too much because I want them to look like not too far off how they look in the games, but I don't know. I like messing with colors, it's fun. Anyway, back to Slushy. I like the idea that Shreds got attached to the Totodile and then he knew his trainer was planning to like sell it or whatever, but obviously he cares about this Totodile now, so he would help it escape. Probably get in a lot of trouble for that, but... But anyway, he helps Slushy escape, doesn't get to see him again for a very long time. But eventually, I haven't decided exactly how, but they do get reunited. Shreds is with a trainer who's like an obsessed shiny hunter now, so obviously it's not that far-fetched to think that she would find a shiny for Alligator. Regardless of how it happened, Slushy would be fully evolved, so he'd be a Feraligatr, but he'd still recognize Shreds. Also, I love the idea that, like, when they first met, Shreds was, you know, a Sneasel and Slushy was a Totodile, so they were both pretty small. But, you know, now that they're both fully evolved, Shreds is, you know, he's a little taller, but Slushy is just massive, because he's just towering above everyone. Feraligatr is huge. Like, a lot of Pokemon look like they should be big, but then you look at their Pokedex and they're actually really small. Looking at you, Grimmsnarl. But Feraligatr is actually way bigger than I thought it was. It's kind of enormous. A lot of my Pokemon I see are pretty human-like in terms of the way they act, and a lot of them wear clothes. Like, not usually like a full-on outfit, but a lot of them wear like a hoodie or something. Too many of them wear hoodies. I need to stop putting hoodies on all my male Pokemon. I don't know how to design male characters, okay? All I know is hoodie. And Shreds is mostly human-like. Obviously, he has like this little kimono thing he wears. Although I didn't imagine him wearing clothes before. I feel like that's a new development of like when he got his new trainer. He started wearing clothes. He's not entirely human-like though. For some reason I imagine he grooms himself with his paws, kind of like a cat. I'm not really sure why. I just think it's cute. On the other hand, Slushy is very, like, animal-like. So Slushy is very much like a pet to Shreds, basically. I imagine personality-wise, Slushy is very similar to my shiny Rayquaza. Well, one of them, I have two now. Which is basically large, strong boy who thinks they are small papa. Also just generally friendly and docile unless they feel threatened. And then they go into I'm going to murder you mode. In-game, Slushy actually has a sassy nature. I don't really know how to work that into his character. But also, I have enough sassy OCs. I think I need to, like, give it a rest on the sassiness. Anyway, that was my dumb little shenanigans of Shreds and Slushy and Giratina, because, hey, why not? I'll say a couple things about my drawing before I end off, you know? Let me actually mention that. I am pretty pleased with how the drawing turned out. It's one of those trickier ones for me because my strong suit is definitely very humanized female characters. So, for one, these are both male characters, so that's the first struggle, and for two, Feraligatr is definitely not on the humanized side for the most part, so it was quite difficult for me to draw. I ended up making him very smooth and kind of taking off some of the details that Feraligatr has because I just wanted him to look really big and cuddly. Like, you could believe that he's still strong, but he's just a bit more cuddly looking. I think the main thing that I wasn't happy with this drawing is, honestly, I think Shreds is too big here. I feel like, even though I couldn't make him any smaller because you can already hardly see him, but in comparison to Slushy, I feel like Slushy should be even bigger. But yeah, I figured for the sake of this drawing, I can't make Shreds any smaller because he's just going to be microscopic if I keep going smaller. Anyway, I had fun drawing this, and making this video was a nice, fun little something to throw in, because I do want to make other videos besides just the artwork. Obviously everyone seems to really enjoy the artwork, but I do want to make other stuff, art challenges, and, you know, videos like fusions, and drawing stuff from memory, and a series I mentioned where I'd be drawing, like, Pokemon as humans and stuff like that. Like, I have all sorts of different ideas, so I do want to sprinkle some of those in when I do have time between the artwork. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, and like the video if you liked the video. Yeah. I have no idea how to end videos. Subscribe.